Welcome back. So, thanks for staying for so long. That's the first thing I want to check in with you guys. So we check in, we build a container, we contract, and I know this is repetitive, and the agenda comes from the client, and we ask questions, open and close, we listen levels 1, 2, and 3, and hopefully your own psyche is starting to change and you're starting to think about yourself. And if you reflect back from the first class that we had and you're still with us, which I hope, that you will notice how your thinking has changed. Now that is a culture of learning. You must remember, leaders in organizations use coaching to influence culture. And we're taking the same thing here to influence culture around a culture of addiction, to try and get our clients to move to a culture of recovery. And we're using these videos and coaching and the school and everything together to try and address the global addiction problem, the stigma around it, and so to empower individuals like yourself that you can go out into your organizations and communities and families or wherever you are to learn how to create and influence recovery capital. Now remember, recovery capital is the internal resources, which is often education and willingness, all sorts of things, and the external resources available for somebody when they leave treatment or they're moving out of a culture of addiction. And that is all surrounded in a culture of spirituality. Yeah? And for us, spirituality is spiritual principles. So those of you that work 12-step programs, you'll know that the program is a set of principles written so simply you can follow them in your daily lives. But for any religion, doesn't matter, or even if you're an atheist, if you live a life with spiritual principles, things start to improve. So a culture of addiction is filled with dishonesty, denial, justification, inability to take personal responsibility, manipulation. A culture of recovery is honesty. Honest with yourself, being open-minded, willingness, all that sort of stuff to take accountability for yourself and how you're showing up and the consequences of your behavior and how that's impacting those people around you. So yourself or your clients would move from a culture of addiction to a culture of recovery. And what happens now is we're starting to move into the system. So this person's behavior that has deteriorated down has impacted a whole lot of people within the family and society that they themselves now need to change as our client has moved into a culture of recovery. So now in our next lectures, we're going to be going into the system where we are in the center as coaches, in the center of crisis, chaos, and conflict, and we need to bring our authentic self in the spirit of wellness in the center of all this chaos, and we start to see and identify who the client is and which part of which continuum they're on, and how can we coach them to take responsibility to move in a direction that takes them to a culture of recovery. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.